Have you written they like going on hikes on the woods in your dating profile? Or do you like Halloween and spirits and wanted something spooky? What if we combine those two and create a new Digimon deck? Boom! The Nature Spirits! Welcome to the episode of Sauce or Loss. This one's all about the Nature Spirits. The Digimon card game has always been very tribal, where yes, there's flexibility in building, but typically you're going to get more benefits if you stay within the canon line. Want to build War Greymon? Well, you'll get a cheaper Digivolution cost from going from Greymon into Metal Greymon. This has been a core principle of deck building for a very long time, but that started to change in BT15 with the introduction of Digivolving from a specific trait. Digimon that are part of the SOC gang could Digivolve from one another with the same Digivolution cost as if they were tribal. This opened up more flexibility in deck building as you could slap Lugumon into Dexter or Goromon to get a powerful, more offensive build, or grow more control by putting in Mega Dramon, which we've seen win in a couple of regionals. With this new possibility, it was only a matter of time till we saw more decks utilizing Digimon traits, and now we have one, the Nature Spirits. Nature Spirits are a set of Digimon that have a deep connection to the earth and nature as a whole. These Digimon tend to resemble flowers, rocks, and other animals and things to do with, well, nature. And of course, this makes sense. We have stuff like potatoes, frogs, and of course, a giant star with box gloves for hands. Now, let's look into this forest and see if this is something worth our time, or if it should just leave me alone. Okay, so technically there isn't actually an egg as part of EX7, but there was one release with the tournament packs that came out when EX7 released and around that time, so I'm going to talk about it. And we have our level 2 blue egg Wanumon, which has the trait of being a nature spirit, which is important for a nature spirit deck, and has the inheritable of, when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has a nature spirit's trait, draw one. Pretty standard, and in archetype draw one is really helpful, because again, every time you swing with nature spirits, you'll be able to draw one. And since this entire deck is all nature spirits, that's pretty helpful. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to give this one a sauce. BT11 Wanumon, we don't need ya. We actually have two level 3s for the deck, and our first one is our level 3 blue Otamamon, which can devolve off of blue or green, or nature spirits for a cost of 0. And it has the effect of all turns, players can't reduce play cost. And blue finally gets its own cost reduction in Floodgate. Thank goodness it can Digivolve off of 0 on a nature spirit as opposed to 0 from blue or green. I guess they're future-proofing in case there's ever a black egg, or a yellow egg maybe? Spoilers, there are multiple colors for this deck. Honestly, the scariest part is that it can Digivolve from blue or green, as there are so many decks that can now take advantage of this, and that's even scarier. Even outside nature spirits, this card is great. Sauce! Our other level 3 is a black Gotsumon, which can Digivolve off of green or black for a cost of 0, or from something with Nature Spirit's trait for a cost of 0 as well. It's got the effects of Blocker and the inheritable of Reboot. This has to be one of the most generic black cards I've seen in a hot minute, as it's got both of your standard black keywords, Blocker and Reboot. Quick side note, while looking for a card that had both Blocker and Reboot, I came across this guy from BT2. Man, how far we've come. This one's an SR. Anyways, back to Gotsumon. Because it's the only other Nature Spirit rookie, you're gonna have to run it, but that doesn't mean I like it. Sauce, but only out of necessity, as without it, it's gonna be really hard to build this deck. Moving on to level 4s, we have a bunch of them, and starting them off is our blue level 4 Geckomon, which can Digivolve off of a blue level 3 or Nature Spirit for a cost of 2. It has the effect of on play when Digivolving, draw one card, and the inheritable of jamming. Since it only costs 4, it's not a bad choice to hard play to get an extra card draw in case you're breaking. And hey, what's another blue card with jamming? Am I right, gamers? This is sadly your only other way of drawing extra cards in the archetype, so you've got to run it. Sauce. It's not like Mirage is going to use it, right? Oh look, it's our all-natural boxing champion, Starmon, which can Digivolve from a yellow level 3 or Nature Spirit for the cost of 2. It has the on play when Digivolving, when your opponent's Digimon get minus 3k DP for the turn, the inheritable of Barrier. The effect being both on play when Digivolving is great for popping floodgates that might hamper some of your future plays, and Barrier isn't a terrible inheritable. Again, this is kind of like Gotsumon where it's needed for the deck in order to run smoothly, but that doesn't mean you have to run a lot of them, maybe a 2 of at most. Sauce. Moving on, we have our level 4 green Digimon, Monochromon, which can Digivolve for green level 3 or Nature Spirit for the cost of 1, and it has the real trait of having the dinosaur type, with the inheritable of Piercing. Okay, this has to be the last color, right? We've got green, blue, black, and yellow. That's more than enough colors, right? Right? The best part about this card is that it only costs 1 from a green Digimon or a level 3 Nature Spirit, and Piercing is the icing on the cake, really. But, I have to wonder, why does this have the dinosaur trait? It's probably not important. Sauce. Our last level 4 is the all-black Tortomon, which can Digivolve from a level 3 black Digimon or Nature Spirit for the cost of 2. It's got blocker, and opponent's turn, this Digimon cannot be deleted by your opponent's effects, with the inheritable of Reboot. What's another Digimon with blocker? That's not too bad, and the stickiness of not being deleted by your opponent's effect isn't too bad, but it can still get bounced, bottom deck deleted by battle, put into security, and much more. But hey, if your opponent's playing Tlalocmon, they're cooked. I kid. Bandai, please make Tlalocmon good. Just remember kids, that doesn't include DP-, as that's deletion by game mechanics, so any yellow deck can still run this guy over pretty easily. The repeat inheritable of Reboot isn't necessary as you're running the Gotsumon, and it kind of gets invalidated by other cards in the archetype. I'm gonna have to give this one a loss. The protection isn't that good, and you have other level 4s that you could run instead. Leveling up to our level 5s, we have our blue Shogun Gekomon, which can digivolve from either a level 4 blue Digimon or Nature Spirit for the cost of 3. It has the effects of, on play, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend until the end of their turn, and a your turn effect of all of your Digimon with the Nature Spirit's trait can't have their target switched. Now this is a great card even outside Nature Spirits, as the on play will make a lot more sense soon, but prevents them from suspending is very powerful as they can't use their Tamers or Digimon to attack. The real power is making it so that your Nature Spirits can't have their attacks redirected, bypassing all blockers, be them Mother Control or Magnamon X. But don't worry, there's a really easy way to get this guy out for free. This card is definitely sauce. There's a reason why it looks so smug in the artwork. Our next level 5 is a yellow Piximon, which can digivolve off of a Nature Spirit or yellow level 4 for a cost of 3. It's got the effect of on deletion, you may play one yellow or Nature Spirit's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying the cost, with the inheritable of when attacking once per turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -4k for the turn. The on deletion isn't terrible, as you can play a Nature Spirit or yellow Digimon for free. While you can only play 4 cost or lowers, guess what? That's all of your Nature Spirits. The inherit to me is the only real good thing about it, as personally I don't see why you'd run this over other level 5s that have stronger effects. Loss. Our next level 5 is a green Triceramon, which can digivolve off of, you guessed it, a green level 4 or Nature Spirit for a cost of 3. It's got the effect of on play when digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, it can't unsuspend until the end of their turn, and a rule trait of having the dinosaur type, with the inheritable of all turns once per turn. When this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Now this is a strong level 5. Being able to make one of your opponent's Digimon unable to unsuspend for a turn is a great way to swing over it or control the board. It also allows you to have a target to attack with that inheritable, which is all turns, great for offense and defense. Again, I wonder why that is. This card is sauce. Definitely run it as one of your main level 5s. Okay, I think I saved the best one for last. This is our black level 5 Jagamon, which can digivolve from a black level 4 or Nature Spirit for a cost of 3. It has the on play effect, digivolve 1, and the opponent's turn effect of all of your Digimon with Nature Spirit's trait gain blocker. In my opinion, I think digivolve is one of the strongest effects in the game, but you're not going to be hard playing this guy for 7, as there are ways to cheat him out. The opponent's turn effect to give everything blocker is really good, allowing you to block and activate Triceramon inheritable if you have multiple stacks out. And it also invalidates that Totemon we were talking about earlier. I would say this is great, but not to run as more of a 2 of, as I think the other level 5s still have more utility. Soft nonetheless. Moving on to our level 6s, we have an ace card actually, with the level 6 SaberLeomon Ace, which is a green and yellow Digimon that can digivolve from green or yellow for a cost of 4, or a Nature Spirit or Leomon level 5 for a cost of 3. It has the hand counter of Blast Digivolve, which is normal for all aces, the on play when digivolving, 2 of your opponent's suspended Digimon get -8k DP until the end of your turn, and the when digivolving when attacking effect, once per turn, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then if your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon, with the overflow cost of 4. We've got ourselves a pretty strong ace card here. Since SaberLeomon has 2 when digivolving effects, you can pick the order in which you want to proc them, and you blast digivolve. So you can be able to suspend one thing and then do the -8k DP, or vice versa, to be able to unsuspend. It all depends on how you want to play it out. Also, this counts as Leomon support, as it gets a reduced cost from a Leomon level 5. This is also your cheapest way to get into your actual boss monster. Sauce. Our last level 6 is Eldoradimon, a black level 6, which can digivolve from a level 5 black Digimon for a cost of 4, or a Nature Spirit for a cost of 3. It's got blocker, and it has the on play when digivolving. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you play up to 7 play cost total worth of Digimon cards with Nature Spirits among them without paying the cost. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. End of your turn, once per turn, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon with the Nature Spirits trait. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on Tlalocmon, mainly because this is the card that really elevates a lot of your level 5s with those on-play effects, as this is how you're able to free play them out and get those on plays without having to spend 7 memory. The biggest problem is you have no idea what's on top of your deck. None at all. So you're doing what every player loves.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
The benefit of this, at least, is you can play up to 7 cost worth, which would be stuff like a level 3 and a level 4, or 1 level 5, or SaberLeomon Ace. But what if you happen to hit all options, a Davis, something else, right? You have no idea being able to rig. Also, this is your main DNA maker. As spoilers, your boss monster is a level 7 DNA card, and you're going to need this in order to end of turn DNA. The benefit of it is, you don't have to use Tlalocmon and you can use other bodies on the board. But the question is, are you going to be able to play those bodies out? Because we're in a meta that really punishes playing things for free, stuff like Tlalocmon is being teched in because guess what? Top dog on campus is Imperial. It makes it really hard to say, oh wow, this is just an easy, I just Digivolve into us, I play out my bodies, and I keep going. Oh, and I guess this also has blocker, which is nice too. But honestly, I'm going to still give this a sauce rating as it's really needed for the entire deck, but there are just a couple caveats that I'd be aware of. Okay, it's our last card, and it's our boss monster, Tlalocmon, which is a green, yellow, and black level 7. It can Digivolve from a level 6 that's green, black, or yellow for the cost of 6, or it can DNA Digivolve from a green, black, blue, or a yellow, black, blue combination. When Digivolving, you may play 1 card with the Nature Spirit's trait and a play cost of 7 or less from your hand without paying the cost. If DNA Digivolving, you may play up to 2 cards with different colors and the NSP trait and a play cost of 7 or less from your hand without paying the cost instead. When Digivolving and when attacking, for the turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for each Digimon you have in play. Oh boy, another level 7 DNA deck. One thing I want to explain about this DNA is that you can either DNA with a green source and then a blue or black source, or a yellow source and a blue or black source. You don't need all 4. I know the way it's kind of worded is a bit strange, but I just figured I want to explain this. As of right now, your only way to really DNA into this guy in archetype is with your SaberLeomon Ace and your Tlalocmon. So yeah, enjoy having overflow on your boss monster. That's really fun. Maybe in the future Bandai will give us some more nature spirits so they can do something else. But this could have all just been solved by giving it partition. That would have been nice too. But I guess we didn't want a boss monster that play another ace, right? It's like ultimate chaos monster running around giving that much problems. Come on, Bandai. I do think the when Digivolving effect is really strong, especially if you DNA, allowing you to play out 2 7 costs or less. Again, being a SaberLeomon Ace or any level 5s. The idea here, I think, with this guy is to kind of control the board and make it so it's hard for your opponent to swing over you. Again, making everything a blocker, or just making it so they can't really do anything by making it so the cards can't suspend or unsuspend. The when Digivolving when attacking and give minus 7k per Digimon is also really good, because again, with the way this deck is ideally supposed to work, you're playing out tons and tons of bodies and able to sort of spread out that minus 7k. Again, it's Heaven's Judgment, but on a cute little spirit dude. No. Overall, I think for the nature spirits, this is a great boss monster. There are a couple things that I would personally want on it, but for a boss monster for a new archetype, I think it's sauce. The Nature Spirits deck has a lot of good tools, making this a very good toolbox deck, with Tlalocmon being that all-around wrench card that allows you to play out all your bodies and go really wide and lock down the board. But I think the biggest problem this deck has is that it's too many colors. There's no way for you to actually search for anything in this deck. It's blue, green, yellow, and black. Like, how are you going to effectively search these decks? There isn't even an in-archetype searcher that grabs a Nature Spirit or anything like that. The only way you're drawing cards is off of that Wanyamon or off of your Geckomon if you hard play or Digivolve into it. You can run something like BT3 Davis or any of those new memory boosts that are coming out, the dual color ones. But again, you're still going to whiff half your deck if you're mixing and matching things in. And unlike another level 7 DNA deck, Tlalocmon, which still manages to brick with its plethora of Trash 1 Draw 2s and Searchers, you've got nothing here. Honestly, if you had something like Legend Alliance, I think that would really help the deck, as you could rig for Eldorati as well as being able to play out bodies and just kind of help get that board presence out. But again, you get nothing and you just got to kind of cope with it. I do think this deck, if you can get going and see all your right pieces at all the right time, is just phenomenal.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
But me as a player, I often brick a lot, so having the ability to search more and find the right pieces is something that I need a lot of. And it's something that I really struggle with this deck, as I would just brick and have the wrong cards at the wrong time. I mean, yeah, I could just hard play at level 5, but at the end of the day, what's that really doing for me? It's not really advancing the whole game strategy aside from me just giving my opponent a bunch of memory. Before I give the final rating, I do want to mention there are a couple of tech cards and stuff that I've tried to help make this deck run a bit smoother and just make it so you're not just completely falling on your face all the time. You can always run BT3 Davis as a memory setter, and it searches like half the deck. Again, go heavy into the blue and green, and Davis will help you search everything, including your boss monster, and SaberLeomon Ace. Heaven's Judgment, again, you got a 3-color boss monster that's yellow, so what's some more DP minus shenanigans? Oh, there's also BT5 Takumi Aiba, because on Digivolve you can draw a card, and this deck needs all the draw power it can get. And lastly, this might seem very controversial, this is a real sneaky pick here, but BT16 Tlalocmon. You're missing a level 3 anyway, so why don't I just slap this bad boy in as a 4 of, and search literally anything in the deck that's a Digimon or Tamer. There is some rumblings that EX8 might have support for Nature Spirits. If there is more support, just give me a searcher, and more ways to draw. I think with those two things, this deck can maybe do a lot better. Oh, and maybe even an option similar to what I was talking about earlier. Okay, so there are a lot of things I actually want from the deck, but I digress. Overall, the deck isn't overly good or overly bad. It's just kind of painfully average for a Digimon deck. There are some really cool effects in here and things that make it kind of a bit better, but again, the whole lack of searching and other stuff like that kind of brings it back down. So I'm gonna have to get Nature Spirits 2.5 trees falling over out in the forest out of 5. Thank you for watching this episode of Sauce or Loss. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing, as it does help us in the channel out a lot. But until next time, I've been Pro Ninja, and we'll see you guys in the next one.